Pleasant good afternoon to you, John Verlin, once again with another digital marketing update, on-demand advertising solutions, and podcast number 22. Today I want to talk about, and this was prompted by an email several weeks ago from a listener. His name is Don. And Don, I want to thank you for asking this question. It sort of prompted me to talk about all this. And by the way, if you do have questions or comments, feel free to email me, jverlin, VERLIN number 1 at yahoo.com, and we'll feature it perhaps on the podcast and answer some of your questions. The storms of the competition is what I'm entitling this podcast. How to prevent or to maintain your business in spite of your competitors. It changes, and storms crop up it could be 5-10 minutes. You got a severe thunderstorm and a warning, and it could wipe out your business or wipe out anything if you're not prepared. So consider this sort of a siren test of the weather sirens for your small business to prepare against the competition. And I know a lot of small businesses will say, well, there is no competition. There is competition. The competition's what's in the mind of your prospect, and you many times can't control that. So if you think you're safe, you're not. And just today, as an example, Amazon just announced they were buying Whole Foods grocers for $13.7 billion. Now, and this has been talked about all day long on Twitter and social media, but stock's gone up, gone down, everything's happened because of this. But you don't think this is going to be a game changer for Walmart or any grocer in the country? You don't think this is a storm that could wipe them out? Prices of Whole Foods could go down because of Amazon's platform and delivery systems. I mean, the whole list of things we could talk about. But this is a storm on behalf of grocers and Walmart that maybe they saw coming, maybe they didn't. I mean, this is the kind of thing, of course, is going to be on a smaller scale for small business, but these are the things you may or may not even anticipate. So what can you do? Well, there's 3 key things I want to talk about. And again, when you think about price, lower price like insurance. A good example of what I want to talk about is if you've seen on Twitter, at least I've been following them on Twitter, is Progressive Insurance with Flo. That's their brand mascot, Flo. I like her. She's funny. And that's the purpose of why they use her, to get you to like her. So here's Flo, and she'll show up on Twitter, maybe our price isn't the lowest. We're happy for you. You may have seen that with a couple other competitors, like they're in a beauty pageant and she's crying because she didn't beat the price and that kind of stuff. Well, Liberty Mutual, I saw this after Progressive started doing this with little ads on Twitter. Liberty Mutual now, combine your insurance and save $761. Or Progressive might say you could save up to $629. But that's price. Okay, now that's a problem because you're going to compete head-on with price. But they're consistently talking about their brand in spite of price. And Progressive, I like the way they did it. Well, maybe our price isn't the lowest. But guess what? They've got a presence out there with a memorable message. And it's funny. And I remember it. The beauty pageant. Flo's crying. She didn't win. The other 2 women are waving. They're happy. They won or whatever. But they're communicating their message and their brand in spite of the price. And they're even having fun with it. They note the fact that they may not always be number 1, but they're consistently talking to prospects and customers via, in this case, Twitter. That's point number 1. Consistently be talking to your customers and prospects is a way to fend off competition. Why? Well, think about it. maybe they are going to do something different. But guess what? If you're consistently out there, and this is why, and next week I'm going to go more into this about the power of the blog and as part of your marketing platform and why you need one and why it's so powerful. But you can shift your message because you have a consistent platform, in this case, Progressive versus Liberty Mutual. You can consistently be talking to them and building that brand relationship. And that is huge among small businesses. Because guess what? Most small businesses are lazy. They're not going to be doing this. This is what I tell prospects when I meet with them. And I go through a PowerPoint explaining step by step the marketing platform, why all of this is important. And this is one big reason. So you won't get run over by the competition when a storm erupts. They do something you don't expect. Well, what are you going to do? Well, you've got a pattern of consistently talking to your prospects and competition, or prospects and customers. You can now alter the message to shift when the competition does something. First point. Second point, consistently provide or offer value. Again, you've got a message that you're doing ongoing, hopefully, with prospects and competition through social media, through your advertising, however you're doing it. Now you can shift and offer something. Maybe it's, now through June 30th, you get a special. Whatever the offer is to counter your competition. And this is small business marketing. This is the way it is. But with these platforms, you can build a presence ongoing for your brand, and you can alter it and shift it as needed. So that's point number 2, is consistently providing an offer or a value to compete, to stand out. Okay, the third point, consistently staying top of mind. That goes hand in hand with the other two, but it's basically the fact, and I'm seeing these, and I'm using Progressive and Liberty Mutual. I see their posts every day. And it's gotten to a point now I can tell you about them, and I remember them, and they're in my mind now because I've seen them every day. And they're consistently keeping their brand in front of their prospects. Okay? So this is why all this marketing platform and consistency is so important. And if you own a small business and you're not doing this on a regular basis, well, I don't have a budget. Well, how can you not do it? That's my question. Because you're leaving yourself vulnerable. And the only way to beat the competition is to stay one step ahead of them. And I won't go into it all now, but it's the reason we recommend podcasts and video on your marketing platform with a blog to have the edge, cutting edge, latest stuff. And now when artificial intelligence takes over, I guess that'll be another whole other thing, and I probably won't be around to see it. You may not either, but at any rate, those 3 things. Consistently talk to your customers and prospects. Make this part of your marketing plan. Consistently provide an offer or value to zig and zag with the competition to prevent that storm from developing. And as part of that, to answer your customers' questions or needs or wants or any issues. That will help you, build brand and build loyalty with them. And finally, consistently staying top of mind. Those 3 things are some really good ways to control those storms from the competition, to keep them at bay. Because the things I'm suggesting to you that I found over the years, most small businesses don't do. Again, and I don't want to be critical, but people are lazy. They don't want to make the effort, make the investment. Do you have someone on staff that handles your social media on a regular basis, every day, each week of the year? If you don't, you should consider that, or hire someone, freelance or whatever you want to do. It's just that this is how important it is. And if it's so important for big companies like Progressive and Liberty Mutual to be on Twitter maybe it's important for small business too, because guess what? Those platforms that are now available level the playing field between huge corporations and small mom and pop businesses. You can look the same. That's what Steve Jobs said what the web does. It's a level playing field now. Next week, I'm going to talk about why the blog is like nuclear fuel for your long-term small business existence. Nuclear fuel, that's pretty big stuff. Why that blog will provide that for the future of your long-term existence as a small business. So be listening next week for that. John Verlin's my name, jverlin1@yahoo.com is the email. OnDemandAdvertisingSolutions.com is the web address to visit. Love to hear from you with questions, answers, your thoughts, whatever. We'll see you next week, and tell your friends about these podcasts. Share it with them. They just need one idea, one thing that might improve their business, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week. Have a great day.